There's whiskey in this glass. This week, let me show you how to make a sweet, simple little cocktail. We're making a whiskey. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt, I'm the whiskey nerd, and like I said, today I'm making a sweet, simple little whiskey cocktail. I'm making a whiskey cocktail, and I got this cocktail recipe from the Difford's website from a guy called David Wondrich in Brooklyn. I'll leave a link to that Difford's website page down below, which you can check out afterwards. And I've had this recipe kind of in my mind for a little while because it's quite sweet, it's quite simple, it's just kind of like a fruity looking cocktail. And I decided to use it with this whiskey right here. This is the Thin Lizzy Blended Irish Whiskey. If you want to see a review of this whiskey, I'll put a link to that up there. Myself, my wife Rose, we reviewed it earlier on this week. And it's basically a sweet, simple little whiskey. So I said it might work out well with this cocktail where there's not really a whole lot of complicated flavors. You're not looking for something, you're just looking for a nice kind of base of whiskey on top of which you're going to build some other flavors. Speaking of those other flavors, for our ingredients, we're of course going to have our Irish whiskey, but that's going to be backed up with a little bit of triple sec, which is an orange liqueur. For a nice bit of sweetness, it's also going to have some white vermouth. Now, you can use, let's say, a drier vermouth if you want, but me, I'm using this Bianco vermouth from Martini, which is not super dry. It's kind of not as sweet as a red vermouth, but it's not as dry as like a proper white vermouth. It's somewhere in between. It's kind of like a semi-dry. So for me, it gives a little bit more kind of sweetness and flavor with all those botanical notes you'd be expecting in a vermouth, but you can use whichever one you like. And lastly, it's also going to have a little bit of orange bitters, which is going to help us have that kind of fruity, sweet flavor, as opposed to a lot of botanical herbal notes, which you get from something like Angostura bitters or other things like that. And that's enough time talking about the cocktail. I think it's time we make it. It is going to be a stir drink, so we're going to get our mixing glass and we're going to pop a nice rock of ice into there before we measure out our ingredients. Starting off with our Irish whiskey, we're going to go in with 60 ml or 2 ounces of this Irish whiskey. Like I said, this is the Thin Lizzy Irish Whiskey. It's not like super strong, it's not super flavorful. It does have a nice bit of flavor, but it doesn't have like sherry or anything like that. It was aged in double charred bourbon cask. So it's going to give you all of those kind of normal enough whiskey flavors, like a bit of caramel, vanilla, a bit of oak spice, things like that. So you can use whatever whiskey you like. I've just gone for something kind of simple, just like that. That was 60 ml of this, and then we're going to go in with our white vermouth. Like I said, this is the Bianco vermouth, which is a bit sweeter, a bit lighter, a bit softer, but again, whatever vermouth you like, you can use. So we're going to go in with 30 ml or 1 ounce of our Bianco vermouth into there, and then we're going to go in with our triple sec. Triple sec, like I said, it is like an orange liqueur. It is sweet, it is a bit fruity, so we're only going to go in with 7.5 ml or 1/4 of an ounce, up to that 7.5 ml marker in there. And then we're going to put that in there, and then we're going to go in with our orange bitters. You can go in with, again, this is a nice simple cocktail, whatever orange bitters you want. I've got these from the Fee Brothers, but you can get Angostura, you can get any other bitters you want, but it's only one dash of orange bitters, because that's going to give us a nice kind of round flavor profile to our cocktail. I'm going to stir it for about 30 seconds, 35 seconds, get it nice and cold, because this cocktail isn't going to be served on ice. So I'm just going to stir this down. Okay, that feels nice and cold now, so I'm going to go to strain out my cocktail. I'm going to pop my strainer up top. I'm going to get a nice chilled coupe glass. So I'm going to catch that ice. I'm just going to serve it nice, straight up, just like that. And then for a garnish, we're going to go in with more orange, because that's kind of the vibe of this cocktail. It's got 2 pieces of orange here, one zest. I'm going to express the oils over the top, really get that kind of orangey flavor into the cocktail. Discard that one and take another piece that I've cut a little slit into it, so I can pop that over the edge, just like that. And that right there is how I make a whiskey cocktail. Now, before I taste this cocktail, if you're new here, scroll down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. I put out whiskey reviews like the review of that Thin Lizzy whiskey every Wednesday, and I put out cocktail recipes like this featuring whiskey every Friday. So if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave me a comment down below and let me know what kind of cocktails you think I should make in future. But for now, let's taste this one. Cheers. Okay, it's very like a Manhattan. Obviously, you got whiskey, there's bitters, there's vermouth in there. But it's lighter, it's sweeter, it's brighter. Like a regular Manhattan, it's got this like the red vermouth in it. It's got this kind of heavier, spicier, more botanical flavor here than here. Here you've got the Irish whiskey, like I said, that's kind of on the lighter side. The vermouth that I chose a bit on the sweeter side. The triple sec lightens it up, and then the bit of orange bitters, those orange oils in there, they give it a bit more citrus and a bit more lightness and a bit more brightness than that classic Manhattan, but it is still very close to a Manhattan. Yeah, it's a bit sweeter, it's a bit simple, but it's a nice little cocktail. It's something that if you've had a lot of Manhattans, or you're looking for something like you got these ingredients, if you have a home bar, chances are whiskey, bitters, triple sec, and vermouth is going to be kind of in your fridge, in your shelves. So you'll have all the ingredients, something you can whip up, something nice and simple, but just a nice little cocktail. So I think I'm going to keep on enjoying it, and I'll see you next time. Sláinte.